Hey, Tom from 8 Hands here. So you've gone from your backyard having a garden and maybe some chickens, much like we did, and then you've now evolved into something a little bit bigger, maybe 5-10 acre plot that you may have access to that you're going to start farming on. You know, some of my suggestions, and just by the way, I'm a big supporter of this just because the world needs more small farmers, so go to it and try and have fun with it. But it is like 5 to 10 acres. You would think that divide that up. If it's 5 acres, you do an acre. If it's 10 acres, you do 2 acres of produce. Could be some fruit trees mixed in there too. And then you get some chickens for sure. To get some eggs is quite simple. You don't need to start, processing meat birds, but you can do chickens and eggs, and you can then do some sheep. Your sheep can be for maintenance and manure, or it can be for ultimately processing the wool or doing something crafty like that. You could certainly start in that way, but it gives you a good mix and it gives you a good protection instead of just doing one thing, which, you don't want all your eggs in one basket, So you kind of want to diversify. Now, as far as equipment is concerned, you don't need much for like 5 acres, even 10 acres. You can do things like with a rototiller and manually, and depending on the animals that you have and rotating them around, that fertilization will help grow that grass. So there's really no need to do anything other than maybe a mower, which you can do with a regular, little garden tractor if you wanted to, a little yard tractor, I should say. And then the garden, you could either do manual or you can get a rototiller and do that. So, but if you were to graduate to something where you could move certain things around, like compost and things, you would look for a simple tractor. We have Kubota tractors. We have everything from a 48 horsepower down to a 25 horsepower. Front loader is important, so get that up front if you're going to find a good used one with a front loader, so you can dig in and move soil around if you need to, or move compost or clean things up. Basically a bucket. And then you can get forks on there too, so you can move around feed or pallets of seed or whatever you may have. Or if you didn't want to do that, then you can go over also to an RTV, which is basically just a utility vehicle, tilt bed, you get diesel. You can use that in the garden to harvest things. You can use that for, bringing feed out to the animals. That's one of the first things we got. We got a tractor, the 48 horsepower with the front loader, and we got an RTV basically. And those were our 2 biggest investments at the time to be able to move the farm forward and to do the things we needed to do. In a way where you get things, and we got big batwing mowers, we have a skid steer, we have a bunch of different things, and all the implements, we have post pounders, we have everything that we would use at the farm. And we always took advantage of, if we're going to do a project, instead of hiring somebody out to do the project, let's use that money and actually buy the piece of equipment so we'd have it for the next time we're going to use it. So that's kind of our motto, and that's how we live by with regard to investment on the farm. And New York State and your state that you're in could have favorable, rebates, or they have an investment credit for buying that equipment. New York State currently has 20%, so it's hard to view it as like, hey, it's on sale, so go buy it, but it helps you out that you can get a 20% refundable credit from New York State for any equipment purchases that you may do. So definitely doable. I encourage people, if you have a desire to farm, maybe you already had another career and you're looking for something else, or you're starting, and the young people, which we need. I think the average age of a farmer now is in the 60s, so not good for the future of food and everything else, or at least quality stuff. We want to try and prevent is corporate-owned farms where people are just employees of those farms. We want to actually have small farms that are owned by families and doing good work and growing great food and raising animals the way they're supposed to.